Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Vortie here, and we're going to be making a video. Well, actually, we're already making the video. So this is actually something new for me. Essentially, what's going on is I'm actually uh, commentating on the video. I already did the run, and then I'm actually commentating. I want to try something. This gives me a chance to kind of focus on the content rather than playing and talking at the same time. So essentially what I'm going to be doing in this run is I'm actually just going to go to Kefka and just try and beat him. I'm not trying to do the Carbuncle and Diablo summons. I'm not trying to do the Limit Burst summons. I'm just pretty much testing the water to kind of understand the fight myself. I read a little bit about it, and it doesn't seem too complicated. There's a few different things on there, obviously, that make the fight more difficult. The fact that he's immune, and the fact that every so often he will change his element, which every turn he will change his element to something else. In about approximately 9 turns, he goes a little bit bonkers, and he will pick one of 2 different kinds of things that will kind of set you up depending on what you're doing. So as you can see here right now, what I'm doing is I'm just building units to try and kind of survive the fight. So I'm kind of I looked up the fight a little bit just to kind of have an idea of what he does, and I understand he casts a lot of magic, and then he's got one physical move, and he does attack a lot of times at the start, and sometimes he melees, right? So those are at least my priorities right now, is like how hard will he hit when he hits physical, because I don't really care about that. But essentially just kind of making sure that the party has a little bit of everything. It's got good enough hit points, it's got good enough defense, and make sure that I'm using and utilizing his weaknesses, which is the fact that he is a human. So I'm picking up Man-Eater. As you can see here, I'm pointing out a Man-Eater. That's an ability that I want to kind of bring along. So again, this here, just so you guys understand, is just me trying to win. This is not a guide. The guide is actually coming right after this. Later on today, during this video, you'll probably see a guide, kind of me fighting it a little bit more, completing the Carbuncle and the other thing. And again, it's not going to be a free-to-play friendly guide, not yet, because I'm still trying to figure out a way on how you can beat this free-to-play. But as of right now, I haven't really figured anything yet. A lot of people are trying to cheese him, whether it's with Orlandu or if they're doing using Stesler. It doesn't really matter which way you're doing it, but right now the philosophy for a lot of people, in order to just beat him, is to cheese him, which is fine. I've beaten him with the cheesing method, which is exactly what you're kind of watching here right now and how I'm going to be doing it, but I've also beaten him in a non-cheese way. It's still very, to be completely honest with you guys, it's very dependent on like gear. It's not an easy fight. I'm sure somebody out there is gonna figure it out because they're like badass pros and they figured it out. That's fantastic. But as you can see here, somebody told me in the comments like, oh yeah, smoke bomb works, so I pick it up here. Smoke bomb does not work. Okay, I'm just gonna let you guys know that right away. I didn't bring escape, so I don't know. And here I'm just joking around. I'm gonna bring some fish. And I think I'm gonna bring some music as well. Just some music to play along. Yeah, some musical notes sounds good. But yeah, some people have told me, yeah, you can just kind of do the thing and then escape. I brought it in case just to kind of take a look at it, but it doesn't work because when you look at the items, it's actually grayed out, which means it's not possible for you to take a look. I boost up the music here for whatever reason, but it doesn't even work. The music is muted from it. But anyways, so this is me first time jumping into it, and I'm kind of like listening to it and kind of seeing what's going on. So I had Cecil, and I ran this a few times after this just to make sure nothing changes. He attacked Cecil every single time, so I did it 4 times back to back with the same method. After I beat him, I did it the 4 times just to see if he does anything different, and he doesn't. He attacked Cecil 4 times at the start, and he just goes melees, hitting between 400 and about 900 random, and if he can crit, he'll crit for almost 1,000. Depending on the thing. So here I am just using dual cast off of my both healers, and I'm considering Cecil more of a healer here because he doesn't really tank that much. His provoke is kind of useless in the sense that, well, when he casts magic, its AoE is not really going to be defending anything, right? He does do some provoke, he does do some physical damage, so I do use provoke whenever I remember, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, whatever. So at the start here, I start doing Crush Weapon to do attack and magic break. It's pointless. I'm telling you guys this right now. Unless you're using Celeste to do like a sealing of his Dispel ability, you're just going to break him for no point. For no reason, sorry. The only time it makes sense of doing any sort of breaks on him is if you're going to be attacking that turn. So break and then get your units to attack. Otherwise, it's pretty pointless. So as you can see here, I'm kind of doing some tests. because they're all wearing Excalibur and he's immune to light, I attack and I'm like, okay, right, he's immune. So I continue to do some tests here as I'm playing around and just kind of feeling it out. So you can see there, he took a few physical damage attacks, it's no problem. I'm just gonna go up there and just heal up. And again, even though I said it at the start, I just want to make sure you guys understand, this is not a guide for free-to-play players. This is just me going out there and testing it. I don't want you guys to say like, oh, another event, you know, showing this. It's not really a guide. But I am doing kind of like a talking over my own gameplay that already happened. So here I am boosting the attack and defense of my units to make sure that that physical attack damage I'm taking, if it doesn't only hit Cecil, that it actually will have a little bit more defense on everybody else. And the other thing that's good here, bringing COD or Cloud of Darkness is actually a smart idea if you don't have Marie or Minfilia leveled up. Honestly, even if you have Minfilia leveled up, I might probably bring COD still, because Cloud of Darkness is definitely really good because he does like AoE blind and poison, and he has a move called Return, which allows him to pretty much AoE debuff all those components and put you back into the fight. If you're doing like a melee burn, then what you're going to be looking at is making sure that your units are not blinded, otherwise you're going to be stuck. So here I'm doing some more testing here with the lightning stab, because it is a lightning type damage with a hybrid physical damage into it. I'm kind of testing to see like, will the physical damage part do any damage? It doesn't. Whatever the element base is, it's going to be, you're going to just get the whole immune thing. My Orlandus are wearing, in their main hand, they're wearing a katana, and in their off hand, they're wearing Excalibur, and all of their melee attacks are being resisted 100%. Okay? So, now that we're a little bit into the fight, and as you guys are kind of watching, I'm just kind of rinsing and repeating the process. This part here, while he's casting elemental damage, is very, very easy. It's not very hard, because you're just defending against elements. As long as you keep your buffs on you, you're going to be okay. Second your buffs fall, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time with this. But if you notice here, my Refia, her MP is just solid because of the vestment from Aiden and her Solomon ring. She literally just stays over 400 almost the whole time. So I'm showing you I used an item, and that's the reason I used it, so I can get the 10,000 fish. I'm looking at defeating Kefka with the other thing to see if I want to go for it. But as you can see, if your characters are built with elemental weapons, because you're going to be cheesing a particular element, it's pointless. You're not going to be able to build any of that. So my only unit right now that has non-elemental weapons is Cloud of Darkness, which is it's good and bad, and people are texting me because apparently I'm important. So they're what do you call it, he's got his own little thing there for because I brought him, I'm like, maybe I'll get him to build my, what do you call it, limit burst, to try and maybe do that as well. But then I'm like, forget it, because it just takes too much. It's more of a hassle. My advice is to build the teams two different ways. If you're going to be cheesing it, it's very aggressive, kind of like how my team is here. It's aggressive. Even though these guys have like 5,000 hit points, they're still getting dominated by his AoE moves, right? So you're going to make sure that you have a mixture of defense and hit points in order to survive those things. And to be completely honest, if you're going to pick anything over anything, I would be picking resistances. So you can see here, he does have lightning that just passed. I did lightning stab, and he actually did damage to him for the lightning element, but the physical element got resisted because he still has physical resistance, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm just, because I know that the light element is going to be coming around very soon because we're running out of elements. I'm trying to make sure that all the Orlandus stay up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to res Orlandu, and then I'm going to make sure that everybody's healed up and buffed up for all elements and make sure that they don't get killed. Because he's doing ice right now, so I'm just like, okay, let me double check that ice it is, no problem. I'm going to cure up everyone and hope that the next element is going to be light. So there goes Omni Veil as well to get that resistance buff for all elements. If you have Marie, this is even easier, like a lot easier, because Marie's buffs are way better. You could, if you were here for the what do you call it, the Christmas event, you could actually be using Winter's Veil, which gives you a big buff to ice and wind. So you can also use that, put it on another character, and kind of flip-flop between that. So you make sure those elements you resist really, really well, because it's like 70%. So here we go, we survived another turn. Wind is out of the way. We're just gonna, same thing, rinse, repeat. Just heal everyone, make sure nobody's dying, make sure that if they have any debuffs on themselves that they're going to be buffed properly. So I think I use return this. Oh no, this is where I'm testing barrage to see exactly how much I'm going to get. But like a dummy, I'm only looking at my last 3 guys. As you can see, they're all lined up. I looked at Orlandu and I'm like, oh, they're not blinded. I didn't even look to see if Refia and Cloud of Darkness were blinded. So I did barrage, and it was completely and utterly pointless because he was blinded. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna defend, and by accident I clicked that guy to go and attack. So he laughs, does Banishka, which is darkness now, which I started to think at this point, like, okay, he just did darkness, I guess the next one is light. So now I'm just like, I'm getting a little bit nervous. I'm like, what's gonna be the next thing? So like, I'm gonna buff everyone, I'm gonna provoke, I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna get ready. I want to make sure everyone is at full life for the next one, because if it's light, then it's game time, bro. It's game time. So we're just waiting. I was thinking, oh, actually no, I wasn't thinking, I was looking to see if they're all blinded, and I just double checked, and I'm like, okay, they're not blinded. We're gonna defend with them so they don't die next round, no matter what it is. Iraga, so I got lied to, does osmosis. There goes Cecil's MP, no problem. And he got mesmerized, which is a horrendous move by Kefka. At this point, I don't know if you can even dispel it. I tried Asuna, I tried that stuff, it didn't work. But I give him Turbo Ether, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it was pointless because like he's mesmerized. You can't even use him, and it's my first time seeing the move mesmerize. I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, and actually I don't even realize that he's mesmerized till the turn after. I think, yeah, so I was looking like, yeah, like, See, I'm looking at Cecil, I'm like, what the hell is mesmerize? And I'm looking at return here. I look at return, cure and poison, blind, sleep, silence, paralysis, confusion for all. And I'm like, really? There's nothing to remove mesmerize? Well, this blows. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll do whatever we can. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's run this to get blind off of everyone, and then call it quits for that round, because that was horse poo. I think this is the Graviga, yeah. So here's Graviga. So this is the most dangerous move to get. Graviga knocks you down all the way. So if you have dark resistance, you have a high chance of surviving it, or you have a chance of resisting it. But Graviga is very hard to resist. Even with Marie around, you still get smacked. So I'm like, okay, it's a done deal. I'm going balls in right now. I don't care. I'm going to go for everything. So I'm going to use Divine Ruination to cheese him. So this is, I was waiting for light. That was the element I was waiting for. So I'm waiting for it. I take a look. Okay, this is the order I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I go 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Built my order. Go for the chain, and he falls like a bag of chips. It wasn't a very difficult fight. If he did light right off the bat, I could have just ended this match right away. It would have been really easy. But as you can see, that is the way you do it for cheesing. Again, this is not a guide. This is just me showing you me defeating it the cheesy way, as I like to call it. And it could be cheesed in many different ways. You could either do it by an element you choose, or doing it with Orlandu. Alright guys, thank you so much for sticking around. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe and like button, and stick around for the guide. I will see you guys in the next video. This is Vortie, and I am out of here. Peace.
I saw it.